Guys, welcome back.
Hello.
How is everybody's back to school with their kiddos?
Ours was hectic, even though we don't have kids.
Yeah.
But
It was pretty hectic. But all the kids are going back.
I think a lot of them go this week.
Yeah, the last wave of it.
Well, at least here in Phoenix, like in Tempe area. So,
yeah.
but we with Omocha, we did a sponsorship with certain teachers, select teachers that contacted us.
Yeah, that reached out.
We tried to do it in Tempe and Phoenix because it's closer, to us. But we got a couple stragglers
pretty far
in Peoria. But either way, we were able to make it out there. Maddie helped me set it up. We always want to do it.
Yeah, like every year, but
we never end up doing it because we get busy. Because summertime tends to be a little bit busier for us because everybody's out of school. People are on vacation. They're shopping, doing whatever. And then this year I was like, Magali, just do it. If you're going to do it, just do it. Even though I think most of the schools had already started at the time. But I was like, just do it because if we don't do it, we're never going to do it.
Yeah. And we had said 5 and we did all 7.
Yeah, we did 7. Cool. 7 hit us up. So
yeah. So
that was exciting. And I feel like it's something that it's always good to help people, but at the same time, it's like de todo lo que Dios nos ha dado, de todo lo que Dios like has blessed us, like not that, oh my God, it's so much, but like you don't know the impact that we can make, into kids. And sometimes even it could be like snacks, like if you take extra snacks to your with your kids, like if you
for the class, or
if you know of like lower income students that go to your kids' school. Or there was also like a trend that was going around that people would go and pay for the school lunches for the whole school, like whoever like had to pay out of pocket. Because we did get free lunch for a time, and then it all went away and we had to pay. And and I feel like sometimes like, oh, you would forget to tell your mom, or like, oh, I need money, like to pay the balance, or I forgot, or I did get lunch and I wasn't supposed to because I wasn't going to grab lunch or something. Yeah. And so I think it's something cool that we could do for other people, like other kids, because I feel like when we were younger, like muchas cosas pasan that you don't understand.
Yeah, you don't like see the whole picture.
Yeah, and I feel like now that I'm older, I'm like, dude, now that I remember and I look back, I'm like, and a couple of the teachers also mentioned to us like that they're like in low income schools, like where muchos lo único que comen is when they're there at school. And I'm like,
it's crazy, huh?
And I'm like, a veces it could be, a financial thing, but it could be like neglect from their parents. And you think about it, and I'm like, oh my God, we were really blessed, porque gracias a Dios nunca nos quedamos sin comida.
Sin nothing, yeah.
And it's like what we were talking about. They get like, maybe we didn't live the life that, we didn't get the life that we wanted growing up.
Yeah, but we got a lot.
Honestly,
we had a roof,
better
than other people.
We did, and it's something to be thankful about. And I feel like it gives you empathy.
Yeah, it does.
It gives you empathy for other people, for other kids. Y yo por eso I think with kids, like they have like a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
Because I think that kids they're so like genuine, but there's so many things that could happen to a kid to make them do outbursts, to do certain things. Imagínate no tener comida, how are you like expecting that kid to be the best kid in your class?
To have a positive attitude, yeah.
When his life is like falling apart, or her life is falling apart,
Yeah.
And even nosotros of adults, when we're going through things, we can't even handle it, but you're expecting a little kid to handle it.
Exactly. And it's like, that's a child.
It's a
like,
child.
calm down.
You can't even control yourself. So I think that is something that I'm glad that we did it. Like that I told you to do it.
Yeah.
Magali told me that we should do it, but then I was like, just do it. Because if we don't do it, no se va a hacer.
Because we wanted to do students, but I was telling her that a lot of schools ask for the tools, but the kids don't even end up keeping it. The teacher's the one that like distributes it or whatever. So I was like, you know what, let's do the teachers, because they're gonna know what to do with what we give them. Where if you do a kid, it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But I feel like eventually we could do a kid, but I remember when we would get help, because my mom would get help, it was like 5 of us. There was places that had shoes already and the uniform size, and they had uniforms for you and shoes for you. It's not like que les dabas the option to pick, so you already had it. Like you would get the kid size, the shoe size, and you would buy it. So I think that's more like a better sponsorship to a kid that's going to school than you just buying and like, oh, here, to see what you can do. So it's pretty cool that we did the teachers, but I think it'd be cool to do students too, you know, eventually, hopefully.
But one of the schools that we went to, it looked like they either had extra uniforms or
the whole pile, yeah.
So I feel like sometimes el que quiera ayuda, ayuda.
Yeah,
like,
ayuda,
you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no...
Yeah.
It's like what I tell my... Because I was talking to my mom about it, and I'm like, you know... But I'm like, I feel like si llegara el tiempo... No estoy diciendo que quiero que me pase o que me va a pasar.
Yeah.
Pero si llegara el tiempo, because when my parents used to help co-pastor the church at the Salvation Army, they had they would give despensas de comida, like food boxes. Is that what the same thing? Yeah. They would give food boxes, but we would prepare them. Like we would help my mom, like if we were working or if she was working or my dad was working and they weren't done, we would go in and help them. You know, serve. We wouldn't hand them out, but we would help put things, like everything, together. And we would go to the food bank and go get the the food and stuff like that. And el que quiere, I know as maybe as humiliating, but I feel like you can't be that. No te puedes sentir como like because you're so proud. Embarrassed, like, and you're so proud. Yeah, that's the word. That you can't go and seek help. And I'm like, dude, yo es como yo. Exactly. I'm like, girl, if I really needed to, because a lot of people abuse the system. But that's a different subject for a different day. Pero if you really need it, there's a lot of help.
Exactly.
So even if you guys, the Salvation Army is a very good organization. I feel like they really serve their community. Like in cosas como que they might have their bad things.
Yeah,
not that
like
because everybody. But
group.
Yeah, but they have like. Yeah. If you go like and if you're like behind on your electric bill, te ayudan. You obviously have to show proof, you know. It's not you can be like, oh, so hey, by the way, today, and you también ellos they've noticed, I think, a lot that they've been getting abused by people, like that they just go, pues que no puede pagar eso y lo malgasté y aquí está. Yeah. And they have like the food assistance, they have like the light bill, water bill, stuff like that, and even some have like for you to pay rent.
Oh, wow.
Like if you get behind and stuff like that. So if this is for anybody of you, or if you guys know of anybody, I feel like there's so much help, not just for like younger kids. Porque pues yo me acuerdo que in the Salvation Army, they would do the angel tree.
Oh, yeah.
And people would go and put in their things and you would go get them, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. I remember we went to one of the Salvation Army events.
Yeah.
For Thanksgiving, porque daban pavos.
Oh.
And then Christmas too, daban juguetes. And I remember we would go. But at this, even being that small, I remember that there was people who didn't like abusando. Like,
no, yeah.
You were seeing, I was like, man, you're driving a new Ford truck. Yeah. we got here on foot.
But it's like everything. I feel like a veces no es de que no hay dinero. It's just that the parents don't know how to handle their money or they just abuse it. But again, they obviously do it for the people that do need it. But then, como siempre va a haber esa gente que don't need it. Because honestly, we don't need toys. It's not a necessity. Like, it's not like, you know, but that's something that you guys can look into if you guys are interested in the help. But the Salvation, talking about that, but I'm saying like cuando alguien quiere mejorarse o ayudarse, like there's help.
Yeah.
And now with TikTok and YouTube, there's like so many
everywhere.
things.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
But you never know when you're going to be at that point in your life, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And it was cool that every teacher was like so grateful, you know?
And a lot of them were like newer teachers too.
Yeah, they were like newer teachers or student teachers. But they were all like, oh my God, like you don't even know like how this helps. And you don't think so because I felt like we got them a lot of things. But like, I'm like, oh, we should have gotten more. But I feel like what we took, they were like, oh my God, this is so much. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like if we could have prepared better in
we could have.
advance, you could have done more, but we kind of did it last minute.
Yeah.
And then with us moving the store,
exactly.
I was like, damn, this is. But you know, it's all for the good of you know of everything, you know. But at the same time, it's a sacrifice because it's not like something that you just go and like. It's very easy when it comes from somebody else's pocket, and you're like, oh yeah, we should totally do that. But when it comes from like your accounts or from your stuff, you're like, oh shoot, you know, like it's really a sacrifice because you're like. Damn.
Yeah, that could have used somewhere else.
Not that you could have used. Yes, you could have used it, but at the same time, pues lo malgastamos en pitos y flautas. Como dice Cesar.
Yeah.
Lo malgastamos en pitos y
You're gonna spend
but
it
still, it's something different, you know, because you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart at the same time too. But it also teaches you to be like grateful for what you have, and it teaches you. Yeah, there's other places that you could help out, even if it's not, say, like you don't have the money. Yeah, you can go and help at a food bank. You could go and help like at a.
That's true.
Because we grew up at when we went to the Salvation Army. Yeah, and because my parents were co-pastors, they had to help. Yeah, they not that they had to. I think they genuinely like serving people, but like we had to help because you know it was with my parents and stuff, so we didn't have a choice.
I remember in school they would take us. In the Wake Up Club.
What? That's crazy.
It's called Wake Up Club. You know, at the mall, when all those kids are at the mall and they're wearing that Wake Up Club shirt. Well, it was like that. And on Saturdays or like así nos sacaban y they would take us to like marathons in Tempe Town Lake, like different things. But I remember one of the things they would take us to the food bank. I think it was the Salvation Army too. And we would make boxes. Like we had certain boxes we had to make. Yeah. So they would take us, and it's pretty cool, you know. So, especially when I remember we did grow up. We would go get stuff at the food bank, you know, like when you had to do what you had to do. But how you're saying, I feel like when I was young, I didn't really like pay attention to it. I just knew I got home and there was food, like we had clean clothes.
You didn't know from where it came from.
Yeah, like. And now that you're older, you're like, damn, like my mom would have to go. And like we would go with her sometimes to the food bank or like go to the Salvation Army to get toys, you know, like so now it's us like you having the money and like the heart to do it. It's like pretty cool, you know, because you're like, oh my God, like you see how much it takes.
Yeah. And so like imagine these companies that do it a lot. I know a lot of them get donated things because girl, mi tía, I'm going to shout out to my tía Clarisa, but she works for the Salvation Army. Yeah. She works as a pastor at the Salvation Army. Y pues ya sabes como mi tía le habla a todos, todos se hace amigos, like whatever. And girl, there's so many businesses that they literally have to donate money. Like it's what it is. It's part of a business plan. Like it's just to save on taxes. Okay. I know it's kind of sucks, but whatever. But a mi tía, like, I think like 2 months ago, she had called me. She's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go and pick up all these like school supplies for like the students because they're donating it to her. That's so cool. But because they're a nonprofit, they're able to donate. So it looks good on them. But at the same time, they have to donate that money. Because this, you know, and my tía, she's like, yeah, it's because, you know, people have to just, they have to do what they got to do. And yo me acuerdo when, at the one that my tia works at, like the one where she actually is a pastor there, they have like a full on, like they serve meals. Oh, like a food. It's literally like como
shelter?
No shelter.
Pero como a refuge?
It's like a pantry, como una,
like a
soup kitchen kind of.
Yeah, a soup kitchen.
And they literally have like a set chef. They have a bunch of meals. Y les hacen sus comidas. And I think the dignity of knowing that you're like worth a decent meal, you know, like I know it's como todo, you know, because we're not in those spaces, but it's like we don't know how it is to feel hambre. You know, like imagine all those little kids. I know. Okay, maybe for them it's normal to go every year to go get turkey at a not at a food bank, pero at a food pantry con todos los demás. You know, a lot of people do offer the turkeys, but hay gente que no tiene ni dónde cocinarlo. You know, so like they can get all this food, but they have nowhere to cook it.
Yeah, that's true.
And now I'm like, yo entiendo que el que puede, but I feel like when you've never been in spots like that, it's very easy to talk from something that you don't know about. You know, until you like live it, and you're like. Ay, señor. But it makes you think about all those like kids, you know, at schools.
Yeah. That you would see like acting out and stuff.
Yeah, and
you're
it could
like,
just
oh my
be like other
God,
things
maybe,
too, you know. But
most of them are like, because their home is not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy. And even the way they're like, yeah, and these kids, they eat here. And I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy.
Oh, sí, unos dijeron que, yeah, that it was the only place
like,
that they ate was there. And I'm like, ¿cómo le harán during the summer?
Yeah.
And I know in Albuquerque, they used to have these like summer programs. I think you had told me que aquí también,
I would take the girls, like from the old church.
Pero aquí lo hacen
I
también?
don't know here. I think they did it, but I remember doing it in Albuquerque.
Ah, okay.
But I don't know if here.
Because Lulu, my sister, my cousin, she would work at APS, like the lunch area.
School district, yeah.
But she, in the summer, literally all they would do is pack like meals. Y yo me acuerdo, like, girl, even the little chicken nuggets, todos helados. But girl, we were so excited because it was in the summer because my dad used to live right in front of a park. Y decía, vayan a dar su lonche.
Yeah.
And we would go and we would, like, there would be a bunch of other kids. But in the area that my tia used to live was kind of a low-income area. So, I don't know. It's just, it puts a lot of things into perspective that we don't know about, you know?
And that was cool because they don't know, like, what they were doing, you know? Like, maybe they were like, oh, we'll do this lunch thing, you know? Like, but it's like, you have no idea how much kids you helped, you know? Because I remember it would get packed.
Pero at the same time, I think about all that stuff and I'm like, but then they charge kids.
I know, during
the school, if they need it or not, regardless of how it is.
Yeah.
But the superintendents, the big people in the schools, get paid a buttload of money.
I know.
And it's like, and you're over here complaining about
$2-3
a student, really?
Yeah, I think that's crazy how that they'll charge some students for them to have a meal.
I used to have to pay like $2.30, like $2.50, and if we didn't have it, you didn't eat. They would let you build up to a certain amount.
Like
Pero di que se me olvidaba preguntarle a mamá, because it's honestly our responsibility to ask our parents for it. But my mom, or she would give us the money, and I would buy a snack instead of buying that, and then the snacks were more expensive. Pero I think about it, and I'm like, pero how come? They don't do anything.
Exactly.
You know? And it's like, ¿cómo tú te puedes sentar allá en tu silla? I'm saying because they're so involved in that stuff. Obviously, some of the decisions that they make are very stupid. Which I'm not going to say anything about that, but... Pero yo digo, ¿cómo ellos mismos se pueden sentar ahí y decir, oh my God?
Yeah.
And I know, like, it's a decision of a lot of people. But it's like, that's a lot of money.
But you would think, like, if I had a school, I would do free meals for every student, you know? Like, why? And I remember sometimes they wouldn't even let you get anything. They'd be like, no, like, you didn't bring money. Like, that
that's
sucks.
What I'm saying. Like, it sucks. Or they would give you, like, a sack lunch, I think. I remember in middle school, I see como we were in a lower income area because I used to go to school like on the other side of town for elementary school. And then we went to middle school. I went kind of closer to home. And then for high school, I went outside again. So I remember in middle school, though, they had like sacks of lunch.
Oh, wow. I don't know. It's insane if you think about it.
But you think about it and you're like, like it's so crazy how the kids, todo lo que tienen que pasar, and that's just food, girl. Yeah. That's not even talking about every other thing that's going on, like si sus papás se pelean, si los abusan, oh my God, it just makes you think about so many other places in life. But with the teachers that we told them that we're going to try to check in with them just to see, because
throughout the year,
not necessarily to do like, oh my God, like this whole thing, but a veces imagínate being that teacher and you get all those kids and like you literally have to live your own life. Like,
and some of them were saying like they have a second job. Yeah. Like some of them are like, the snacks I provide and stuff come out of my paycheck and it's not a great paycheck, like, so.
And she's like, I try to tell the parents and stuff like that. Pero yo digo que si, I know that I know it always shouldn't be of you, but I feel like if you have the resources, like you can make a difference in that kid's life. And not that they need to know you by name or anything, but it's like, imagínate, there was this you know, I remember in my teacher, this one, I always had something to eat,
like
or
she always,
you know, or she did this, or she did that, or he did this, and it's like you don't know the impact that they do.
Yeah,
Because I remember in high school, like middle school, elementary school, the impact que esas maestras hacen.
Yeah, like I could still remember some of my teachers. Like I'm like, oh, I remember her. Like, yeah. But that's why we were like, thank you for what you do. Because they're like, oh, my God. And we're like, no, thank you.
Like, I'm like, we're just here, girl.
Yeah. You guys do a lot. You think you don't. But shout out to all the teachers because they're pretty much like a part-time parent if you think about it in a way.
They're literally like a parent. And people don't even go and check who their teacher is. Their kid's teacher is. I'm like, blows me away.
Yeah.
You know? So I think that it's really... it's something that you guys could do in your kids. If you guys have kids, or even if your nephews go to school, you know, like, oh, ten, mira, llévales esto, or
share,
or share your snacks.
If your friend is hungry, you know.
But I feel like también that has to be, and again, it's not necessarily our job as like outside people, but then at the same time, si ellos no están haciendo nada,
exactly,
what are you supposed to do? Just sit there and be like, oh, that sucks to be you. Sucks to be you. Pero it just, I don't know, it just puts so much things, and then it makes you think, and it's a good thing that you think, but then you get so stuck on thinking that you don't do. Yes. At least I do, because I get in my head a lot. I get in my head a lot.
But overall, it was pretty cool.
It was a cool experience.
All the teachers had great vibes. Super cool. Yeah. Yes, they were all cool. And even if they
didn't, we came from a good heart, you know? And that's all that matters. Yeah. Y luego, we were kind of, one thing that we did do that was more specific was that we made sure that we went to the schools, because scammers, what if somebody's like, I'm a teacher, and then they're not even a teacher.
That's why we wanted to drop it off at the school.
But I think what I told Mari for the next stuff, I would like them to go pick it up, because it was a 2-day fiasco. That wasn't even including the shopping that we did, the organizing that we had to do. Well, Magali had to do organizing because I wasn't there. But all that stuff, you know. Yeah. But we're gonna link their Amazon wish list. But even if you guys don't want to donate to your kids' wish list, or to maybe somebody where you went to school at,
or if you know your teacher's kids, you know, you have them on social media. A lot of them have a link to their Amazon.
Like a baby registry, but it's really for Amazon. For teachers. And it tells them when somebody buys something, which is really cool. Yeah. It doesn't tell them, well, I think it does tell you who bought it. Yeah. But say if, like, we shipped everything to my place, because I was like, what if, like,
a lot of it was mixed, so either way we had to split it.
But then I was like, what if we ordered things and then they go to the wrong place or something? If they all comes to one place, you know, se arregla, and then I know if we got it or not, and if we didn't. So, but it was a super cool experience. I think it was cool, and something that we want to continue to do. But we're gonna put their Amazon wish list if you guys want to aportar. Yes. A la causa de las maestras.
Exactly.
And to the students.
Or back home, wherever you are in your area. If you, si buscas, vas a encontrar.
Girl.
Not just on your man's phone. So.
Damn.
If you look at your kid's teacher, or you go check out the website for the school. Yeah. You'll find stuff where you could help little. We're not saying do it. If you can't, it's fine.
But even just like your time, you know.
Exactly.
Like maybe
see what they need help.
An extra thing. Pero también hablen con sus hijos about it, you know, because I feel, I'm going to be very honest. Yeah. Be honest. And it's honest, I feel like everybody would do this. Yeah. Cuando había un niño o algo así que olía feo, o que no se miraba limpio, like, the first thing would be like, ew, es que está. Yeah. And it's like, I would go back to myself and slap myself, right? But, but it's because it's the truth, like, because cuando haces, ay, estás bien cochino, ve, bañate. Like, not that I'm saying that it's a good thing, but it's like, you know, that's what we're kind of taught to do. Yeah. I know not for that specific thing, but it's like, you talk to your kids, like, hey, si ven algo así, like, let me know. Like,
or if one of your friends is hungry or saying they're hungry.
And I feel like between kids, se hablan mucho.
Más,
Like,
Like a kid's not gonna come up to an adult
and tell them, hey, you know what? My mom hit my dad.
Yeah. There's some that do.
Some do. Some do. But what I'm saying is a lot of them tell their little friends, you know, like, oh, you know, this or this. Or they're just embarrassed, you know. But tell your, I think
ask your kids.
It gives your kids empathy too.
Yeah.
And it like, imagínate si todos fuéramos así.
Yeah. And kids are honest. So I'm sure your kid told, like his friend told your kid something, your kid would be like, yeah, he was hungry. Like, they're probably like, oh, whatever. But it's like, oh, shoot, you know, like, si se dicen cosas, como tú dices, you know, in between them. Yeah. So ask your kids. An extra lunch or something. Yeah.
Or even ask the teachers. The teachers know, you know, ellos saben porque.
That's why we kind of went the route with the teachers, because they know what they need. They know who or what, you know what I mean? But ask your kids. Cool. It was pretty fun.
Magali filmed most of it.
Yes. So.
And there's 110 weather.
Yeah. Girl.
Llegamos al carro and we'd be like sweating.
And we didn't even have time to cool down sometimes because it was like, oh, it's like. Yeah.
But we ended the shopping.
It was fun.
With a Costco pizza.
Yeah. And we saw a fight.
Oh, yes. We'll try to put a clip in here.
Dude,
homie went ham on that guy.
Yeah, because the guy, something said to his wife. All you could hear is like, stop me looking at my wife.
But we literally saw him. I saw him leaving Costco. Like, as we were walking into, like, getting around, like, to get into Costco, they were coming out.
Yeah.
And I was like, y lo ya que pensé, and I was like, wait.
Did he, like, run back?
And I remember seeing that girl, and I know I shouldn't have said that, but I was like, girl, you need to wear a different type of shorts.
Yeah.
Because they were, like, riding up her booty. But I was like, damn, you know? I was like, okay, girl.
And I don't know where he was on that side, and we just heard bang.
I was like, bueno que no dije nada.
I know.
But now, dude, I feel like I've been seeing so many things. Y mejor me voy a quedar callada now because it's like not even mi pelea.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, we went to the bank. I know off subject, but we went to the bank, and some lady was like at the ATM at the Desert Financial, but she was literally like on the crosswalk.
Oh.
Like there's like a little crosswalk for you to walk through, and then like the ATM is like over here.
Yeah.
She was like, it was like here, and she was like over here,
like
on the crosswalk.
Yeah.
And I guess some viejito was like, pues ya sabes, los viejitos, like to get out of the way basically. And then homegirl bajó su ventana, I guess, as we were kind of like walking in and was telling him something. And I was like, I didn't know what was going on, so I was like, okay, whatever. And then dejó que mi mamá se meta, no. She comes inside.
The lady in
like
the car?
5 minutes later. Like, I'm like, girl, that you should have been over that already.
Yeah, to still
5 minutes later, because the long was lying. Y se estaban tardando mucho.
Yeah.
And she's like, were you the one that was saying that I needed to move out of the way?
Yeah, to you?
Oh, there's the ATM. No, le dijo al viejito.
Oh, al viejito.
And I was like, I didn't even look because I was like, girl. And the guy was like,
what?
Like, yo creo que nosotros somos el viejito, pero. And I was like, dude, this is not my pelea. Like, it is not that deep. Like, homegirl needs to chill out. Que antes me.
You would have been like,
I would have been like, okay, well, you are in the crosswalk, ma'am. You're the idiot. So get over it and leave. Pero mejor I was like, and I literally told my mom, like, Mom, I need to start being careful because there's been so many.
Even at the mall, Arizona Mills.
But in Arizona in general, que
sí, like muchos,
sacando sus guns pistolas. For nothing. And honestly, not the best people have their guns sometimes. So
the children's place, talking about, like, I think you should stop doing that.
Yeah, someone's doing that.
But I don't know if you guys heard, Arizona Mills.
There was drama.
There was a shooting. No, but it wasn't. I know. That was what was posted. And there's even a TikTok going that somebody got stabbed. Which is really nothing. You know what the lady that works at Children's Place told me? That somebody was stealing. That's why it happened in that area by the Didis. And the worker chased him, but they got away. And the worker fell and cut himself, like his head, somehow how he fell, like que se peleó con el que se estaba robando las cosas. And she's like, and that's why there was blood. She's like, but people, I'm like, girl.
And then it's because I feel like once it.
And I'm like, and people are like, we heard gunshots. But I'm like, it was probably all the doors slamming. The mall doors are
like the
metal, like gate. And when you slam those, they sound loud. So they were like, oh, the guns. And the girl's like, girl, that's what it was. Like, wow. Someone was stealing and they chased them. And pues se agarró and the guy fell and there he se pegó su head. que por eso había blood. She's like, and people saw it and they were like, oh my God. Like, yeah. Según that's what happened, but so then there could be another side.
But yeah, it was not a shooting.
No, it wasn't.
It's because when the gates close, se oye. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people, what I was telling Magali, and the people at work, I was like, it's because a lot of people don't know the difference between a gunshot, a firework.
Yeah, or like a bang.
And it's like a bang. If you hear a loud bang and multiple bangs at the same time,
exactly,
your assumption is...
And even if you're like I'm on like, the other side,
your ears would have been ringing if you would have been.
If it was gunshots,
Like, don't be. It's not that deep.
And honestly, when it happened, I was kind of still like chilling by the computer.
Mine is very calm.
And I was like, what the heck? Because you hear little teenagers run the whole time and like scream.
And it was packed because it's a lot of back to school.
Yeah, so people were running. We were like, what the heck? And then Danny, that's when people ran into our store and we were like, oh shoot, something's happening. So she's like, go to the back. And then I was like, what the heck? And I was still like, okay. And then our other coworker was kind of right there. And I'm like, oh, sir.
Get out of the way,
excuse me. I'm like, close the gate. And then we went and closed the gate. And there were some customers that were panicking. Like, they were super scared. But I was like, what the heck?
Well, he's like, calm down, take a breather.
We locked the door.
And we know that it's a scary situation, but I feel like también, and then you get to one extreme and then you're...
But in everything, it's best to stay calm, guys.
Yeah.
Because freaking out does not help. But it ended up being nothing. I mean...
It just...
it was...
The cops were there.
Like,
the cops were
pobre señor, you know, but...
The cops were around there and stuff, and there was people with...
the
guns blazing.
Yeah, like they did go in there and check and everything.
But they were just checking because of I think
because of the last situation too. Yeah, so they have to go and clear them all. And then pasó our homie and the viejito and the little thing, and he's like, "You guys are all cleared. Everything's fine."
The mall cop from the Mills.
And we just opened the gates again. And I'm like, for him to be riding around like that, nothing. Chilling. Then it wasn't like a gun or anything. Enough, so. Yeah. So that's what happened.
End of story.
And then we just started moving the store.
Oh yeah, we're moving. So
we did the back to school, and then
this week we move.
And today's Sunday for us guys. So today is the last day at our COVID store. That's what we call it. Yeah. And then we're moving.
But we're loving the new store.
Yes.
I feel like we were ready for a new change. Yeah. Not necessarily like the full-on store, but I feel like just like little things to make a difference. So we're excited.
Yeah, but we'll add clips about the back to school. We did like a little blog, so we'll do it here.
Join us.
Yes. And then we have coming up the opening this next week, moving this everything. And then the following weekend.
Vegas.
We have a date with Adele.
Yeah. She doesn't know, but I know.
Yeah. I was looking at the seats and they're not that far.
No, they're literally
they're
where
like
she walks.
Far, but it's like right there where she walks. So guys, I'm gonna jump across.
Es que me da el baño. Tengo que ir al baño.
And our aisle it's only 5 seats. So it's 3, and then 2 people. So it's not like it's a big aisle, you know.
And we're gonna also make it a vlog for for Omocha, like for content.
For Pero Pues.
And we're also gonna be posting for the podcast too, so that'll be exciting. Yes. We don't know what we're gonna wear yet, but we'll figure it out.
So our next one will probably be, we're gonna call it A Weekend with Adele.
A Weekend with Adele. But I was telling Magali, I think it'd be so cool to do the podcast that Sunday in the hotel room.
Yeah.
With all the like emotions of the concert. Because I feel like if we wait and do it till like we come back, we're gonna be like, it was exciting, instead of being like,
yeah,
I love Adele.
Yeah.
You know, like she's queen.
I'm manifesting que se me arrime.
And this is Magali's birthday present.
Yeah.
This was one of her birthday presents, but this was like the main one. And I needed her help. And so we all tried to get the tickets because it was like verified fan.
Yeah. And you had to.
And I told Danny to enter. I think I told Brian, Cesar. And then I was like, Magali, if we get tickets, I'm trying to get you tickets for your birthday. So can you please? Guess who got called to get tickets? So if I wouldn't have told her, we wouldn't have gotten tickets.
Yes.
So, but we're excited. We're going to be in Vegas. Eat some good food. We want to try so many different restaurants.
Yeah, we've seen so many. So hopefully they're good. Fingers crossed.
The places that and she's going to try Din Tai Fung for the first time. I love Din Tai Fung. I know it's like a lot of people say it's like overrated, but I love it. I think it's delicious. Good. But some people, yo no soy authentic too. Like I can't have that food all the time, you know? So it's not like. But we're excited.
But fun things are coming up.
So stay tuned.
Yes. Bye, guys. Thank you. Thank you, teachers.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, teachers, for all your hard work.
Yeah. Bye.